Welcome to another episode of Millennials to Millionaires.
Before we get started, we got something very, very special for you guys.
Extremely special.
If you look in the description below, we have a free, I repeat, free real estate investor's guide. Make sure you click the link in the description and get access to it right away.
Remember, it's free.
Now, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. All right, welcome to the M2M podcast. What's poppin', my guy?
I'm honored to be here, man.
We
appreciate you.
We got a special guest with us right now.
How y'all feeling?
We're feeling great. How are you feeling is the question, bro.
Show must go on.
How are you feeling,
No,
man?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here, man.
No, it's a pleasure to have you,
I'm happy to
man.
be
We were
here.
out on the court yesterday. You know, we had a little bit of fun, man. I know you got the crutches out right now, but
Yeah, I came out here. Y'all trying to injure me. I'm like,
nah. It ain't that at all.
That
you know?
hospitality is a little different.
We home court advantage, yo. We can't take no L's.
Y'all can lose the home.
No, we can't. We couldn't.
Y'all
be.
was fouling something tough, ain't it, Boy, y'all was out here hacker shacking.
No, man.
Yeah.
But listen, it's a pleasure to have you out here in the six.
Thank you.
It's lovely. And listen, we've been following you for a while and we love what you're doing. And we want to know pretty much like, how did you get started? Like, tell us a little bit about your story.
I was in marketing beforehand. My buddy Art was working at JP Morgan. This was during the last big recession, 2007, 2008. He called me. He like, hey, man, I need you to buy these stocks. I was kicking it with this girl, Brianna, so I was listening but not listening.
Gotcha.
Shout out to Brianna. She long gone, right? So like 3 months later, he's like, yo, we need to liquidate the stocks that I told you to get in. And I'm like, what the hell does liquidate mean? And he's like, you didn't buy what I told you? I'm like, no. So he bought Citigroup at like $1.01. So like off that investment, he was up like 500% in like 3 months. In like 2 years, he was up like 900%.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so like I didn't listen. So I was devastated. So I was like, I'm never going to miss another recession ever again in life. And from that day forward, like I just studied the market every day. So I made sure that I wouldn't miss any crash. And Art retired from JP Morgan at 35 in 2008. He's still retired today off that money he put into the market.
Wow.
So that's what made it click for me. Like, oh, these are opportunities for us to get rich.
Yeah.
While normally like our families are panicking, people are making a lot of money off of these environments. So I never looked back ever since that moment.
Yeah. They say in a recession is the best time to get in, right?
Absolutely.
So during COVID, that was, I guess, the modern day recession that we ever experienced.
Yep.
Like what were the big opportunities that people could have taken advantage of that really didn't?
AMD, NVIDIA, Apple and Microsoft. We'll talk about it later, but even for us doing the show, Market Mondays, like that was an opportunity to like branch out in the media and help the people.
Yeah.
That's always our blueprint is like to help first.
Yeah.
So in every
Market Mondays was started during COVID, right?
Yeah, like we did episode 70. That went pretty well. Like I think we recorded in January.
Okay.
And I hit Rashad like, yo, when the episode coming out? He's Rashad like, chill. I got the perfect time.
Yeah.
And it was like the week before COVID hit, I think. And it came out, caught fire. And then once COVID came around, he was like, hey, you know, we're looking to bring some other podcasts. And I was like,
Yeah.
Done.
Sign me up.
hey,
Where do I
let's get right
sign?
to it. Because I saw in our community, we didn't have an investor to go to that we
at all.
trusted. There was no Kramer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I can fill that void and partner with them, and then, you know, we made magic and now we're here.
No, and that's key. I think in business, you see a void and you fill it.
Yeah.
And that's key. How do you think that COVID really impacted your business? Because I know like one of my homies, like I don't do too much in stocks. Like we're really heavy in real estate. But I know somebody that made like $300,000-$400,000 off of Tesla. And he's like, when Tesla was, he bought it at I think like $300 before they did the splits. And he put in a little bag and he was like, and I drive Tesla. So I'm like, I'm a Tesla guy. You know what I mean? But stocks is, I need to learn a little bit more about it. So like, talk to me, like, well, how did COVID impact like the stock market and everything?
It helped it tremendously. It brought up a lot of companies that were not that good, but the ones that are dominant, like Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, they became even more dominant because now all of a sudden people are looking to trade. The job market kind of went away. People started staying at home. And I think people realize like a crash or an opportunity can present itself where you can get rich, and a lot of people didn't want to sit out. And we all heard the stories in 2008 about Michael Burry making a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Everyone was waiting for their time, and COVID was the opportunity for them to get rich in it. So it was a great time. It impacted the business tremendously. Stock market has been going great since then. If you invested in great companies, and the ones that are not that good, they end up dying. Yeah.
So stock market is one of those unique things, right? It's like you can always get in, but there's obviously opportune times to get in.
Yeah.
So let's say the basic investor, first time investor, what would you tell them? Someone like us, because we have literally no stocks, tons of real estate, but no stocks.
But
like,
if you know real estate,
started?
you know how to invest in stocks.
Okay.
Would you rather like invest in a property when it's at the peak of the market, or Lord forbid if somebody building caught on fire and they want to sell it for pennies on a dollar?
Sure.
That's a recession.
Yeah.
So I want to get it then. Secondly, same with, well, my dad's in construction. So like when you're looking at an aggregate of that sector, those are like comps. Yeah. So I'm like, I want the top 4 in the space. I don't want the 25th best company in the space. And then also just invest every month. There's 2 approaches. You can put a little bit in every month or buy it one time. In a recession, you got to throw a bag in, right? Yeah. But normally you want to do every month, pick 4 or 5 great companies, invest in them over and over again. It's really simple. The hard part is just sticking to a plan. We talked about it before. Like most people will not stick to a plan for a 10-year period. And that's where all the magic happens.
So I want you to talk to me a little bit about mindset, because I know when people invest in stocks, it's very volatile. It goes up, it goes down. They're looking at the charts on their phone every single day.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, it went down $20 or $100. I got to sell right now. You know what I mean? How do you have that intelligence to know that, you know what? Yeah, it might be down right now, but you know, this has to be for a long play. Like, how do you know which ones are for short plays or long plays?
I don't believe in short plays.
Okay.
You have to do long term, because I feel like they use our desire to gamble or make up for lost time for their liquidity. Like, look what happened with NFTs last year. Yeah. A lot of crypto last year, penny stocks 6 years ago. Yeah. Or all the weed stocks that everyone talked about 5 or 6 years ago, right? Yeah. So my thing is like, if you hold for the long term and you look like over a 5 or 10 year period, that'll tell you if a stock is good. Like if you look at a ball player's career over 5 or 10 years, by year 5, you know if he's good or not.
Yeah, you know the stats. You look at his stats. Look at
is
the
he
stat
trash
line.
or not, my guy? I'm sorry, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with a company. Like anyone can have one breakout year.
Yeah.
But if you can do it 5 years in a row, that's when I'm like, okay, great. Let me start to look to buy there. Like Apple's been running for 30 something years.
Yeah.
So Microsoft's been running 30 something years. Google's been on a 20-year run.
Yeah.
They're safe. Like my thing is like, I want the best players. Like, so to me, Apple is Jordan. I think he's the greatest player.
Okay.
Microsoft is LeBron. We can debate that, right?
Yo, I'm a LeBron fan, but you know, it's all good.
But you know, it's 1 and 2.
Yeah,
but if we have Mike and LeBron, we got a guaranteed title. And then if
100%. That's his dream
team. And then
team.
if you take like an index fund in the States like VO, to me, that's like Tim Duncan. Not the most exciting, but it's reliable as hell.
Yeah.
He's going to show up every night, and pick 4 and you'll be good.
No, 100%. I know in the news lately, everybody's talking about the banks, what's happening in the States, and we're on the north side of the border. So we see in the headlines, we see in everything that's happening. Like, what is happening with these banks? What's going on? Why are people losing their money? Like, talk to me, bro. What's going on?
It's really because of fractional reserve lending. So for every dollar that they have in their possession, they can loan out 10x the amount. Yeah. Now, shout out to JP Morgan and Citadel and everyone I'm cool with, but if we did that, that would be called a Ponzi.
Got you.
So the banks don't have the liquidity that we thought they once had. And this is the great part about a recession. It reveals the real. Like, that's a real stress test to see like that. Which companies are doing well. Because, you know, in 2020 and 2018, when quantitative easing was flowing and they were just pumping money, everyone looked like a rock star.
Yeah.
Now it's like bully ball, like how y'all was playing yesterday. we're going to see like who really gets to play. In a clutch, like who can actually perform. And there's not that many banks that are doing that well. There's maybe 8 of them globally.
So what is different from these banks and Bernie Madoff?
Those are his comments, not mine, right? Well, the difference is legislation.
Yeah. So I think after Trump came into office, there was legislation put in place that limited or like that prohibited people, certain banks, from requiring certain legislations until they hit a certain threshold.
Yes.
So I was reading that part. Exactly. So I was reading. So for instance, Silicon Valley, they avoided reaching that threshold. They paused their assets so that they didn't have to adhere to certain legislations, right? And then, so they were buying a lot of bonds, they're buying a lot of government bonds, and the interest rates
adjusted. The bond market
bonds
fell apart after
worthless.
2020. Yeah. Like, what happened in the last 2 years? you couldn't almost make it up. Like for the bond market to fall apart, the stocks to fall down, and banks to go down, it was like that's like betting New York City is going to like fall apart, and then like vacancy rates are going to be 90%.
Yeah.
If I told you that, you like, I'll take the other side of that bet. And then
any day of the week.
And then it happened. The bond market fell apart.
Yeah.
Banks got insolvent.
Yep.
Silicon Valley Bank, I think 85% of the people that they had who had money there was over that 250,000 threshold. Markets coming down. Biden's not leading that well. It was a perfect storm. But it presents amazing opportunity and out of these recessions, you want to see who's going to become bigger. So JP Morgan will become bigger.
Yeah.
Bank of America will become bigger as a result.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, a surgeon.
Exactly.
It's up like 60% this year, right?
Yeah, it's doing really well. Nvidia's doing great.
Yeah.
But because of artificial intelligence and everything Microsoft is doing with Chat GPT. So now we really get to see like there are going to be fewer companies that do incredibly well.
Yeah.
But the ones that are, they're going to take off like a rocket.
So what are some companies to look out for right now?
Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Google, Tesla, here, Royal Canadian Solid, TD is solid. Dark Horse. I'll answer before we wrap up. I'll give one more bonus before we wrap up.
I'm gonna need that list because we're trying to diversify a little bit as well, right? So I need that list.
What kind of phone do you have?
iPhone.
And I got a Mac.
It's like, why don't you have Apple stock, right?
It's one of the easiest investments of all time.
Yeah. They're not going anywhere.
It's a luxury brand plus an ecosystem plus a hardware company. Like you can't, and for every company on earth that has an app, they get 30% of all money there. That's a legal technology mafia.
Really?
So when people don't invest there, I'm like, why? They're making money off Snapchat and Bumble and Tinder and Uber at the same time. Yeah.
That's crazy. Where do you see, because you mentioned Bitcoin, right? Where do you see the future of cryptocurrency? Because, Bitcoin was at like 80,000. Then last year went down as low as, I don't know, like 15, 16 US. Yeah. Our money was like 20K.
Yeah.
But do you think Bitcoin is actually going to be here for the distance? And where do you see it actually going in terms of the price for one Bitcoin?
Bitcoin and Ethereum will be the two that last the longest. They're going to be the only two that last the longest. What's going to happen is that the government, because they're causing part of this crash, right? And Gensler, the SEC chairman, he doesn't like crypto at all. So he's going to wage war. And because Bitcoin is not classified as a security, they'll be safe. What the government is going to do, they're going to issue in their own coins and own cryptocurrency. And because it's no different than like if an artist gets really hot and somebody else comes in and takes their sound because they're a big art and they run off to the races with it. Our government and governments around the world are going to do the same thing, especially as the banks are collapsing. Because if the world falls apart and I say, hey, here's a safer way to invest in a bank. Yeah. Here's a US cryptocurrency backed by the government. Or if, let's say, China makes one and then now it's backed by the gold standard. Yeah. It's game, set, match. Yeah, but Bitcoin and Ethereum will be around. Ultimately, maybe like in 12 years it'll get to 100,000, but all that is going to a million in 90 days or 100,000.
Not happening.
Not happening. No.
So in regards to stocks, what was like your most successful trade and what was your worst trade?
Like dollar amount?
Dollar amount. Oh, yeah. Let's hear some numbers.
Yeah, we try and get into it, man. We want to know.
You gotta motivate us.
Worst trade was probably $70,000 loss.
Okay.
What company was that?
I was trading futures.
Okay.
So when I was talking to a guy earlier, he was like, man, I lost in crude futures 12 years ago. I got scarred. I'm like, I know what that's like.
So for our viewers and listeners, can you explain to them what futures is? Because many might not know.
What that is. Like you'll take a commodity like the NASDAQ or S&P 500 or the price of oil, and you can invest or bet what the future price of that is going to be.
Okay.
So like hypothetically, if like this year LeBron's averaging 24 points, like I'm going to bet, is he going to be over or that or under that? And then if I get it right, I make a lot of money. If not, sometimes things can go wrong. Highest trades that I've won, I don't like talking numbers, but I've hit 400,000 or 500,000 a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over what kind of duration? Like a short period of time or?
Like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's a nice little bag.
2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, not bad.
We hope you guys are enjoying this episode. Don't forget to click the link in our description for your free real estate investor guide.
All right, now back to the scheduled program. So that's what's up. I want to also talk about, because right now, as I'm scrolling my Instagram, all I see is banks and I see AI.
Yeah.
Tell me about AI and what exactly that is for people that don't know, and how that's going to come to play, and why this is actually the next big thing. Because everyone's talking about it. So like, what is really good with it?
This is the greatest shift in workforce history ever. I actually replaced 8 people who were working with me with one app.
Wow.
You replaced 8 people.
Shout to y'all, love y'all. No hard feelings. You mean the world to me. Thank you for allowing me to be better and all that. But
thank you for your service.
Yes. But AI doesn't get sick, doesn't complain, it computes fast.
Shows up on time.
Shows up on time every time, right?
Yeah.
Even me, like, I got my little bum knee, I got to show up still. You know what I mean? I don't want to get replaced. Because we always think that we're not replaceable. And then I was on this 3 years ago. Like, hey, no email, no meetings. If you want to do business, if you want to do it now, wire the money. Everyone said I was crazy. Now, Chat GPT, Jasper, there's a whole bunch of apps that will do the work in email for me.
Yeah.
And it's made life so much better. So like, think of it like this. If you can find the best employee on earth and they brought 80 friends with them that worked just as hard as they did 7 days a week, would you hire them immediately?
No question.
That's 100%. What AI is right now. It's the automation of everything.
So how about AI in terms of like, because you've heard about like bot trading and all that stuff. Does it have an application there or not yet?
Yeah, I've had an AI trader like in my ecosystem probably for at least 5 years.
Okay.
But like a lot of times when people go wrong, they won't let the bot do the testing for them and tweak the strategy to make it better. So they'll be programming their own trading strategy inside of a bot.
Which is counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's like you have to let it run enough tests.
Yeah.
Yeah, so before I even launched mine, like I probably tested it maybe for a year and a half. And the thing performs very well. So.
And what were those savings? Because obviously you're paying 8 people, 8 salaries. From that to the AI app that you're using right now, like how much are you saving in that process?
Easy 20 to 30,000 a month.
20 to 30 a month.
Easily.
Just like that.
Easily.
Computer. So it's like,
I love you. You guys have done everything to empower me and make me a better person, better dad, better trader. Because the comments they be like, man, what are you talking about?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but it made life, and I'm working less as a result.
Of course.
Yeah, it's probably saving like 4 or 5 hours of productivity.
So do you think like things are actually going to be like iRobot in the future, where it's like they are actually taking over everything? We go into grocery stores, we go into Walmart, and there's going to be actually no employees anywhere?
Well, I think we may be 30 years away from that. But because of the collapse of the dollar, the mismanagement of a lot of our resources in the United States, the AI is needed because they can't pay people what they need to pay them. Like whenever a country or continent cannot employ its people at scale, it's usually the sign of a fall.
Gotcha.
So now you need the automation and the robots to make up for the lack of work. And we've shipped off all of our best ideas anyway.
Yeah.
So that's why we need better leadership. But this AI or automation era is going to change the game, and it's going to put a lot of people out of business.
No, I see that. And I see it also in terms of, you're talking about people not being able to afford things. So here, like when we have call centers, a lot of these companies, they're outsourcing to places like India, Philippines, where, they're paying people cents on the dollar. And
in the short term, that's why I don't like short-term plays. It makes a lot of sense to do so. But now you have Russia, Brazil, India, China, South Africa, and Mexico teaming up on the United States. India probably is our biggest threat because we've trained them. So just like in the 1990s, our military trained what became the Taliban. I tell entrepreneurs all the time, I'm like, if you don't think that if you're hiring a VA in the Philippines or India, and they're not taking your intellectual property and making a version of your shit over there, you're crazy. I've known 20 people it's happened to. And people like, you can sue. That's Instagram lawyer work. Like, if you actually go to Bangladesh, you have no case. Like,
not a leg to stand on.
You wouldn't even know where to start.
You wouldn't even know where to start. Yeah. And technically, if you handed over those resources and files, they didn't steal anything from you. The laws are different. So America, for the longest time, has trained who became our competitors, whether it was in war, whether it was in medicine, now it's in business, and we're going to implode from the inside because we don't want to keep everything homegrown.
I heard you say something about ETFs, right?
Yeah.
You said for beginners, ETFs are probably the safest, most insulated way to sort of get involved into stocks. Like, can you speak about ETFs and how they actually help the beginner get started?
Yeah, for me, like picking ETFs is like playing 2K, and I'm picking an all-star team.
Okay.
Like I may not win if I pick the Orlando
West
Magic.
or East?
West, right? So, but if I get an ETF, it's going to have the best companies in that portfolio or on that team. If a company falls off, they automatically going to be replaced, and it's going to put a better player in that slot. So, like Apple and Microsoft are the reason that the S&P are going up. But if Apple falls off in 5 years, the company that's better than Apple will replace it. And I still got my little cheat code all-star team.
Gotcha.
So that's why I say 2 tech, 2 index, pick 2 ETFs or 2 index funds. Pair them with 2 technology companies and you'll be great.
And so how long should someone sort of rationalize an investment for?
Well, how long should they hold in real estate? It's the
We
same
say
game.
5 years.
Minimum, right?
Yeah,
at
Ideally
least.
10 to 30.
Yeah.
It's the same game.
Gotcha.
And I know it's not fun, but you have to find more ways to like, you got to build a business or learn how to invest and trade or, and this is the biggest thing too, is I wish I would, my dad's in construction, has been my whole life. I feel so dumb that I didn't listen to him like in 93 to start putting money away to get buildings. Cause I'm like, I could have had 400 units now.
At least.
And then the capital off that, I could have invested it
Into your stocks.
into
portfolio.
stocks and then taken those profits and put it back into more buildings.
Yeah, you hit a B already.
Don't see. So it's key to do both.
Yeah.
Buffett does both. He's known for stocks, but Buffett also has like, I think 36,000 doors.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
you have to do
he's
both.
a big landlord.
Absolutely.
He's a big landlord. And it's crazy because there's actually a chart that shows his net worth. And it's like $1 million, 2, 3. And it was like after year 15, it like took an
took off.
exponential
Exponential growth,
growth.
yeah.
And I think that's a lot of times people, especially millennials, they're looking for that microwave success. They're looking for that, oh yeah, I want to get Bitcoin and I'm hoping for it to go up to 300,000 tomorrow and I'm going to take that money out. I'm going to buy a house and buy a Lambo.
That's because they want to flex on Instagram.
Yeah.
She don't want you, bro. Even if it run at 300,000, whoever you chasing in Kitchener, she don't want you. You know what I mean? It is what it is. That's why I feel like a lot of us don't want to hold because we want to flex or get revenge on someone that we were mad at. Like even when I see like Troy Rashad 19 go through jealousy and people be like, man, why are they the leaders? I'm like, y'all ain't put in the work.
Yeah.
Did they put in? How many shows y'all got? 5? 6 shows? Like assets and liabilities, main show, market. I'm like always on the road. I ask Troy every week, like, bro, how you do this and not get tired?
Yeah.
Same with you guys. You have to keep going
Regardless.
regardless of what happens.
And that's why passion's so important, right? Passion will
Absolutely.
fuel you when you run out of gas.
Absolutely. Like
That's
when
where
you
you
have
draw
a true
from.
love and desire to help, and let's be honest, to be like black men in this world, to be able to like create a business and it work. Oh my, how can you not take that opportunity and squeeze the juice out of it?
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even like, you know, with the little leg injury, I'm like, I got injured at the Raptors facility.
Yeah.
That's still dope.
No.
Yeah.
Like people back home was like, what were you doing there? I was like, just playing pickup.
Not many people get to grace that court.
Yeah, that's like
Realistically
you have to
speaking.
embrace and enjoy all of it, the ups and the downs. But the
100%.
long term game is definitely where it's at.
All right,
Any
bro,
business.
listen. I got one last question for you before we go.
Go ahead.
I see Russia, China, Saudi Arabia,
Yes.
Iran, all moving away from the US dollar. Really quickly, why is that happening and what is going on?
We were the bully for the longest period of time,
Okay.
and now all of our bullies
fighting
are
back.
getting together
Yeah.
and teaming up again. Now we may be able to beat Russia 1-on-1 or China 1-on-1.
Yeah.
But if it's 9-on-1,
Yeah.
it's going
It'll
to
be a tough game to win.
It's going to be a tough game to win.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. So it's not going to happen overnight, but in about 30 years, it's going to be really rough for the United States. That's when we probably will lose
Feel
our
the
dominant
effects.
status. But like the first to sign we'll feel it, it's probably like in 5 years. Especially if we don't get a better president in the United States. It's going to, and I hate to say it, Trump could have kept us out of some danger because he had a relationship with Putin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Xi Jinping had some respect
Yep.
for him. So it's interesting when leadership changed that they chose to go to war a lot faster.
Yeah.
Power of
Now you got-
relationships, man.
That's
Yeah,
it.
it matters.
It could have curbed a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
Relationships like listen,
I got a quick question for y'all.
Sure.
If we want to invest in real estate out here, what would be the best? I mean, I know it's you guys, but what would be the best ways to get started in investing in real estate out here?
I would
really
say
simple. Pre-construction.
Pre-construction.
Yeah. Pre-construction is the easiest way, in my opinion, for people to get in because it allows people to have a flexible deposit structure. When you're buying resale, unless it's your primary residence, you have to have 20% down, right? So if you're buying a house for $1 million, listen, this is not Detroit.
Yeah.
We don't have houses for 40, 60,
Shout
80,000.
to Detroit in the
Shout out to the
Midwest.
D. Shout out to the D. We were there a couple weeks ago. But we don't have properties
that luxury.
for 80 grand. 80 grand, you can go get a shed for your backyard.
Yeah.
But you can't buy a property, right? Yeah. So if you're buying a house for $1 million, roughly, which is the average price, 20% down, you have to have 200K.
Your average price is $1 million?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like New York for real.
Yeah.
Jesus,
for sure.
I mean, when I got started, I got my first property and I put $11,000 down. Yeah. This was back in 2013.
Wow.
Paid $209 for it.
Yeah, that was $209, right? My first property was $221,000.
And then 4 years later, the properties were $315, made $100 grand from $11,000, you know, 1,000%. So that's the power of pre-construction.
Yeah.
You can't have that in any other situation.
That's
I put the money down, didn't worry about a mortgage, didn't have to worry about none of that. Just waited. Time took its course, made some money.
100%. So right now,
that's the easiest way.
100%. Right now, where we're building is in Niagara Falls.
Okay.
Right, but on the Canadian side of the border. Right, so we have over 10 development sites that we're building right now, and it's affordable for people, millennials that are looking to get into the market because the price points are a lot less than as if you were going to be like downtown Toronto.
Yeah.
Right, the average condo down here is probably like $600-700K
for a 2-bedroom or one?
For one.
So studio, really?
Yeah, you know what I mean? A parking spot's $100 grand. That's all it is, time and location.
Yeah.
But listen, man, it's been a pleasure to have you here. Listen, we're going to chop it up a little bit more.
Absolutely. Send me some deals, too.
I got you. Listen, if things are shaky for you guys in the States, you can cross the border over here anytime.
Oh, that's part of the reason why I moved to Mexico.
Listen.
I need to be here, too.
Listen, you can come here anytime.
Yeah.
We got the Northern hospitality.
Thank you.
As you already know.
Y'all amazing.
If Sleepy Joe ain't taking care of you guys, you know, Trudeau ain't
Shout
that
out
much
to Joe
better.
in case we got to go to the White House. Hold on.
Yeah, shout out to Joe. But listen, it's love. We appreciate having you here. We're looking forward to the show tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
You guys got back-to-back shows. We sold out. You guys are making history in Canadian history.
That's amazing.
Like what you guys are doing, like it's shifting the culture. Yeah. And you guys are the new heroes. Thank you, I don't want you guys to think what you guys are doing, take it lightly.
Yeah.
I was telling Troy Rashad yesterday, like growing up, we had basketball players, rappers, drug dealers. Those are the people that we had to look up to. Now you guys are the guys that these young millennials are looking up to. So you guys are not only inspiring the culture, you guys are saving lives, man. These guys aren't on the streets anymore. These guys are tuning into Market Mondays every morning, and they trade in stocks. So love and respect everything you guys are doing.
Likewise,
nothing but love and respect.
Likewise.
And we going all the way up.
Let's go, man.
For sure.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you, man.
We hope you guys enjoyed this amazing episode of Millennials to Millionaires.
Don't forget to click the link in the description to claim your free real estate investor guide.
This is something that's amazing for anyone to have if you're planning on getting into the market. This is something that you don't want to miss out on. Click the link below.
It's free.